We're at Kim's Taekwondo Center, Green Bay, Wisconsin. I'm Master Penny Dugan. Today is Lesson 8, Taekwondo Training Aids. Training aids will open your mind and give you a new perspective in perfecting your technique. For this lesson, you will need these training aids. If you have a target, a stick, string, 2 shims, 2 wooden blocks, 2 popsicle sticks, half a straw, 2 golf balls, and 2 quarters. We will be using these training aids in class today. Next, you want to write down the training secret of Taekwondo. Reaction force, concentration, equilibrium, breath control, mass, and speed. The training aids will help us focus on the theory of power. So when we work on reaction force, we'll be talking about the snap, the twist, the turn, the chamber, the switch. In concentration, we'll talk about the focus on the target. Equilibrium, we'll be talking about our balance and stances. Breath control, that's our yell, the breathing that we do. Mass, that's when we press our feet into the ground. We push our stomach down. And speed, that's when we're quick, we're fast, we have a good rhythm. So we'll be discussing those today with our training aids. Next, we're going to talk about equilibrium. Equilibrium is your stance, your balance, your posture. You definitely need this in forms and other aspects of Taekwondo. How can we improve our stances, our equilibrium? I like to use sticks. I like to get a stick that's measured off for my horse stance. So the horse stance is 2 shoulder widths apart. So line up your feet with your stick that you'll cut to length. Also, when you do a horse stance, you want your knee just over your toes. Okay. If your stance is too long, your knee would be short of your toes. So you want the knee over the toes for a good horse stance. Alright, for walking stance. This is a shoulder and a half, so it'd be a little bit inside the stick for horse stance. Again, your front knee is bent. The back leg is straight. Your weight is even. And you want to have a good posture. We will work on posture in a second here. Alright, next, L stance. L stance is shoulder width, but you want to line up your heels. One thing you want to do is not the letter T, you want the letter L. Both knees bent. Here, your knee is just over your toes here. Here, your knee is just in front of your toes. Your weight is 70 in the back, 30 in the front. So make sure both legs are bent, 70-30. If your knees are too straight, you do not have a good equilibrium. You need to push down on your back leg. Now that we know how to have a good stance, we want to have good posture. So how we do that is take a stick, put it in the back of your belt. Make sure straight. Okay. Tie your belt extra tight so the stick doesn't move. And right away you can feel the posture. So when you do your horse stance, your back is straight. You wouldn't want to be slouched over. You want to feel the stick against your back. Same thing with walking stance and L stance. Likewise, when you do your form, you would have good posture. Right away, you'll notice the difference in your technique. If you used to be slouched, right away now you're going to notice yourself straightening up. So this will give you much needed improvement in your form. Another way to work on stances is to get a string. Put one in your foot. Measure off your horse stance. Tie the other one around your ankle. So for my horse stance, you would want to have the string tight. Likewise for walking stance, the string tight. If you have poor stances, well, there would be slack in the string. So right away you would know you need to tighten up the string in order to have the good stance. L stance you will have slack because that's only one shoulder width. You can also use the sticks as a guide. So the first move of Chun-Ji, I need to bring my left foot over to the end of the stick. And I need to have my string tight. Right foot goes over to the other end of the stick. And my string is tight. Come to the other side. If your string has slack in it, your stance is no good. You need to get it good stance. If you have a stick to the front, you need to match up your feet. And remember, no slack in the string. How to keep good posture? Again, shoulders with blocks on and a shim on top of your head. Keep the shim on your head, you want to look off into the distance. Keep your eyes straight, just like you would when you do your forms. Chuẩn she shup. Looking off into the distance. Someone that has poor equilibrium or poor stances would look like this. So I'm going to put the shims in my armpits. Try to keep them there while I do Chun-Ji form. So in order to do Chun-Ji, keeping the shims in the arms, I need to have smaller technique. And when you have smaller technique, you have poor stances. So this is to demonstrate poor technique. So if you're getting ready for a tournament, what you can work on is maybe exaggerating the moves. If you're a student that does those little moves, like you have the things in your arms, you want to open up your form, open up the technique, and exaggerate it. So this will help some of you students that have small stances and you need to open it up. So to me, exaggeration in your form. So bigger movement, bigger stances. This will help the judges notice you and they will see your technique. Damn good with exaggeration. Dosan with exaggeration. Next, we're going to talk about breath control. Breath control is your breathing, your yell, when you attack somebody, the ideal time to strike them is when they have the air still in their body. And if you hit them just right in the solar plex, that's called knocking the wind out of them. When that happens, they're in pain, they go to the ground, and it takes them several minutes to get their wind back. So we never want to get caught with the wind and air in our body. What we want to do is always a slight exhale, just at the moment of the blow, right at the end, the last 3 inches. So how we work on that is when we do our forms, we practice breathing. And you actually want to hear yourself breathe. And if you're in a tournament, you want the judges to hear you breathing. Dan good? She shut. Breathing also helps keep a class together when they're doing their forms, their punches, different techniques. Also, the students might want to yell each move. That will keep the group together also with forms. Me, Chun-Ji, yell each move. She, shut. Ah! 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 When you do your forms, you want to have a slight exhale at the end of each block or attack. Especially when you're in a tournament or promotion test. When you have several forms to do, if you're not breathing, you are going to get tired out. You need to breathe properly with a slight exhale at the ending of each attack or block. One way to train yourself into doing this is get a straw, so you can actually hear yourself breathing at the end of each block or attack. And practice breathing out. And then practice with your forms. Today, we worked with training aids and focused on the theory of power to open up your mind and give you a new perspective on techniques that you're trying to perfect. Keep all the training aids close by in your gym or in your gym bag. Think of them often, practice with them often, and always incorporate them into your technique, which should always have reaction force, concentration, equilibrium, breath control, mass, and speed. This is the training secret of Taekwondo